Welcome back to a new anime video. Imagine if Deku, the symbol of justice and hope, became the most dangerous villain in the world of My Hero Academia. What made him hate the heroes? And how did his power become a threat to the entire world? In this video, you will witness a dark and shocking story, where Deku changes from a beloved hero into a monster feared by everyone. Watch the video until the end, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to share your opinion in the comments. Let's begin! In one alternate world within the My Hero Academia universe, things never happened the way we knew them. Since childhood, Deku dreamed of becoming a great hero who would save people with a smile, just like All Might. But in return, he spent many years suffering from mockery and bullying because he had no powers at all. And the person who hurt him the most was always Bakugo. Every time Deku tried to get closer to his dream, he heard the same words, "You're weak and you'll never become a hero." Even so, Deku never gave up, and he continued holding on to his dream no matter how painful it became. But in this world, something completely different happened. One day, Deku was involved in a terrible accident that nearly cost him his life, and while he waited for the heroes to save him, no one came to help. Everyone just stood there and watched. And in that moment, something dark began to grow inside his heart. He had lost his trust in heroes and in justice itself. As the days passed, Deku slowly began to distance himself from everyone around him. He kept asking himself, if real heroes truly exist, then why did they leave me alone? He was no longer the quiet boy who ran after heroes with admiration, but someone consumed by anger and dark questions. While everyone believed that Deku was still trying to achieve his dream, he was secretly spending his time studying the heroes' weaknesses and analyzing their fighting styles. His admiration for heroes had turned into a dangerous obsession. Then came the day when Deku suddenly disappeared without a trace. Several weeks passed, and no one knew where he had gone. But shortly after his disappearance, mysterious incidents began happening all across the city. Professional heroes were being taken down within minutes, and dangerous criminals were suddenly disappearing, as if someone was hunting everyone from the shadows. And everywhere those attacks occurred, only one message was found written on the walls: "True justice has not begun yet." That was when the heroes realized that a new and dangerous figure had emerged from the shadows. But they had no idea that person was Deku himself. And on a stormy night, that mysterious figure appeared before everyone for the very first time. He stood on top of a tall building while flames and smoke filled the city around him. The heroes quickly gathered, believing they were about to face an ordinary villain, but the shock was far greater than they had ever expected. When the cameras moved closer to him, Deku's face was revealed clearly. Silence filled the entire area. Even Bakugo could not believe what he was seeing. As for All Might, he froze in place for a few moments, as if he could not comprehend the truth. But Deku did not look afraid or hesitant. Instead, he stared at everyone with cold eyes they had never seen before. After Deku appeared in that terrifying form, the cities began to fall into a state of real panic. People no longer trusted the heroes like they once did, because the person who was raised within the hero's own academy had now become the greatest threat facing society. At the same time, Deku was not working alone. As time passed, he began gathering people who had lost their trust in heroes, convincing them that the world of heroes was nothing more than a massive lie, hiding injustice and deception behind it. Within just a few months, a new mysterious organization emerged, led by Deku from the shadows, and it began attacking hero headquarters and destroying the city's security systems one after another. As for Bakugo, he could never accept what had happened. Deep inside, he felt guilty, because he knew that his harsh words and constant bullying were among the reasons that pushed Deku down this dark path. That was why he decided to face Deku himself. And one night, the two met again in the very place where they used to play as children. But this time, it was not a reunion between two old friends. It was a meeting between a hero trying to stop a catastrophe and a villain ready to destroy the entire world. Bakugo looked at Deku with anger and shouted, "You're not the Deku I know." But Deku gave a cold smile before replying, "The person you once knew died a long time ago." And after those words, The fiercest battle between Deku and Bakugo began. Bakugo's explosions lit up the entire sky, while Deku moved with terrifying speed that made him almost impossible to see. The ground shattered beneath their feet, and the buildings around them began collapsing from the sheer power of their attacks. At first, Bakugo fought with everything he had, believing he could still bring Deku back to his old self. But then he realized something terrifying. Deku knew all of his moves and weaknesses perfectly. He had spent many years watching him and studying his fighting style step by step. As the battle continued, Bakugo slowly began to fall back, while Deku grew stronger and more furious with every moment. Deku slowly walked toward him and stared at him in silence for a few moments, before saying, "You were the first person who made me hate this world." Then suddenly, Deku unleashed a massive blow that slammed Bakugo to the ground. Bakugo tried to stand up again, but he could not. For the first time in years, shock and sadness appeared on Bakugo's face. But before Deku could finish the fight, a large group of pro-heroes arrived at the scene, led by All Might himself. Only then did Deku's expression completely change, because the person standing before him now was the hero he once considered the greatest person in the world. Silence filled the area for a few moments as All Might looked at Deku with eyes full of sorrow. He was not looking at a dangerous villain. He was looking at the boy who once inherited his dream. As for Deku, he stared at All Might with a deep anger he could no longer hide. Then he said in a low voice, "Tell me, All Might, where was your justice when I needed it?" All Might tried to approach him calmly, but he quickly realized that Deku was no longer willing to listen to anyone. His heart had become so consumed by hatred that he now saw the entire world as his enemy. Suddenly, an enormous surge of energy burst from Deku's body, and a massive shockwave spread out, destroying the surrounding streets completely. The heroes were forced to fall back, while All Might stood alone in front of him. Then the final battle began. It was one of the most brutal battles the world of My Hero Academia had ever witnessed. Deku fought with all of his rage and pain, while All Might fought desperately to save his last student. But as time passed, All Might's power slowly began to fade, while Deku became more terrifyingly fierce with every moment. And in a decisive instant, Deku landed a powerful blow that sent All Might crashing to the ground in front of everyone. Panic spread among the heroes, and the people watching the battle live, because the greatest hero in the world had finally fallen. After All Might's fall, silence and fear spread throughout the entire city. The heroes stood frozen in shock, unable to believe what had just happened before their eyes. As for the people watching the live broadcast, they began losing hope for the first time in many years. Amid all that destruction, Deku stood in silence, staring at All Might lying on the ground. But strangely, he did not feel happiness. Instead, there was a dark emptiness inside him that kept growing deeper and deeper. Despite his severe injuries, All Might slowly approached him and said in a tired voice, "There's still a hero inside you, Deku." But Deku replied with intense anger, "Don't say that." Then he unleashed a massive wave of energy that forced everyone to retreat. At that moment, the sky began to fill with smoke and flames, while sirens echoed everywhere because Deku's organization had launched a full-scale attack on every hero headquarters across Japan at the same time. This was the beginning of the complete downfall of Hero Society. But while everyone believed that everything was over, someone appeared that no one expected, Shoto Todoroki. He stood directly behind Deku, surrounded by fire and ice, then said calmly, "If there is anyone capable of stopping you, it's me." And at that moment, a new battle began, one that could change the fate of the entire world. And so, we reached the end of part 1. Deku is no longer the boy everyone once knew. He has become a threat to the entire world of heroes. But the real question now is, will Todoroki be able to stop him, or has the fall of Hero Society already begun? If you want part 2, write it in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you never miss any new videos.